This time I was reading up on some Vedic texts and researching two deities, Agni and Vayu. Vedism is this ancient form of Hinduism, by the way. It's the religion that was practiced during the Vedic period in India, which was around from 1500 to about 500 BCE. Vedas were the sacred texts that formed the foundation of Hinduism and the like. Agni is the Vedic god of fire, and was born from the union of heaven and earth, serving as the sacred flame that mediated between the divine and mortal planes. He was also the divine priest, who carried out offerings from humans to the gods through sacred fire. And he is often invoked in rituals to ensure cosmic order. This sacred flame is an important cosmic presence to the Vedic religion, by the way. It's basically the embodiment of the divine within the earthly realm. This sacred fire is believed to be present in three primary forms: the fire of the hearth in the home, the fire of the altar in the ritual, and the fire of the sun in the heavens. These three forms reflect the tripartite structure of the Vedic cosmos: earth, atmosphere, and sky, each linked to Agni's roles as the divine messenger. Since he was also known as a purifying force, his association with the hearth and sacrificial fire sometimes brought him into tension with Vayu, whose breath is seen as a force of dispersion and chaos. Speaking of Vayu, he is the god of wind and breath, representing the life force known as prana, and the invisible power that animates all living beings. Vayu would carry out the offerings of fire to the gods and breathes life into the world, acting as the carrier of the soul and force behind movement and change. His unpredictable nature, like his ability to scatter things or to destroy, would constantly clash with Agni's need for containment and stability in ritual fire. Regarding this clash that they had, by the way, unlike other pantheons and mythologies, where gods literally fought or had some conflict they were directly involved in, Agni and Vayu didn't really have some specific myth that detailed this conflict they had, as in, they didn't have a story that said Agni punched Vayu in the jaw or whatever. Their battle, quote-unquote, would instead be symbolic. They are fire and wind after all. In various rituals, both are invoked together, as a pair, but since Agni is associated with structure and Vayu with dispersion, that's where the tension sets. Agni's fire wants to remain stable and burning, while Vayu wants to put it out, along with blowing other things away. A lot of it is metaphorical too. For example, in one of the texts, Agni is described as being born by the wind. Born in this case has an E at the end, which means carried or, brought by, acknowledging Vayu's role in carrying the flame. But the text also emphasizes Agni's power to resist the wind's disruptive force, and this suggests a metaphorical conflict. The flame wishes to remain steady, but the wind has a tendency to disperse it. It's recognized that both deities respect each other, where they recognize each other's interdependence. Vayu fuels Agni's fire, and Agni purifies the air, creating this balance of breath and flame. It's pretty neat, huh? I'm not super familiar with this branch of ancient Hinduism, so it was pretty neat learning about these two deities specifically. Seems like almost all mythologies out there have this duo somewhere in their pantheon where an entity is there for balance in life, and then there's one that's out to disrupt it. And then they end up either being in perfect balance with each other, or they end up destroying each other, or they end up destroying each other while mutually creating something new that represents both of them. Either way, I'm rambling now. Did you have fun? I'm glad to see you be so attentive during these, even if I am just talking about literal fire and air. Still, next time we'll cover something else that's pretty neat, I'm sure. But you'll just have to wait and find out what that is later. Until then, see you for now, my little pupil.